If you're looking for bedtime stories, you're in the wrong place. But if you've got a brain wired for patterns and a gut that knows something's off, pull up a chair and let's analyze this case. Sometimes the loudest scream is the one you never hear. Pictou County, Nova Scotia, the kind of place where people wave from porches and leave keys in ignitions, a town not built for secrets. And yet, in the early days of May 2025, 2 children disappeared from that quiet rural landscape as if they were plucked from reality by unseen hands. Jack Sullivan, 4 years old, Lily Sullivan, just 6, and this is the story that followed them into silence. Their home sat on a rural property off Gairloch Road, wooded, remote, the kind of isolation that promises peace but can conceal danger. Jack and Lily lived with their mother, Malachia Brooks Murray, their stepfather, Daniel Martell, and their baby sister, Meadow. Another adult lived on the property too, Daniel's mother, a separate trailer, a separate story. The family had only moved to the area 2 years prior, new roots in old soil. Salt Springs Elementary was where Jack and Lily were enrolled. It would be the last place they were officially seen alive by anyone outside of the family. The truth is hidden in the hours no one accounted for. Let's wind the clock back, one day at a time. Tuesday, April 29th, 2025. Jack and Lily attended school. By all accounts, nothing unusual. Their classmates remember them laughing, coloring. Lily had her favorite sparkly headband on. Jack carried his stuffed bear in his backpack. That's the last confirmed normal day, the last day they walked into a classroom. Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. The children are kept home. Their mother claims Lily was sick, and Jack stays behind too. There's no medical visit, no prescription, no follow-up from the school. Whatever the illness was, it's undocumented. This marks the first break in routine, the first gap in watchful eyes. Thursday, May 1st, 2025. Sometime in the afternoon, the children are seen in public with family members. Where exactly? RCMP won't say. Who exactly was there? That's also unclear. No timestamp, no video, just a vague, they were seen. This is the last known sighting of Jack and Lily Sullivan. After this point, their presence slips off the grid. Friday, May 2nd, 2025, 10 a.m. Malachia Brooks Murray calls 911. Her story: she and Daniel Martell had fallen asleep. When they woke, the children were gone. Police arrive swiftly. They find no signs of forced entry, no blood, no broken glass, no overturned furniture, just absence. Search operations launch almost immediately. The woods around the property are thick and unrelenting. RCMP issues a vulnerable persons alert, not an amber alert. That distinction is important. The perimeter is set. The clock is ticking.
I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens, and they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time, and the next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no, and we get up instantly. We're looking outside, we're looking everywhere, yelling for them, and I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. they'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware, someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
I know they took their boots. That's pink boots for Lily, blue boots for Jack, with dinosaurs on them. Lily had her backpack with white, and it was white with strawberries on it. I imagine now if they're in the woods that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them carrying their backpack. I don't see them keeping a pull-up one for that long after it got soaked from the very first day. We only found the 2 boot tracks outside of the house.
Whereabouts?
Right beside the house, probably 10 feet away from the backyard.
In the backyard, okay.
Nothing new, other than the helicopters are still in the air, and they had dogs. They took around the dogs today, and as of last night, they had 8 more drones going on with infrared. I urge the public to come out if you have anything, come out as fast as possible and get it to any detachment or any police service that you have available to get to talk to. And Jack just absolutely loves bugs, dinosaurs, anything like that. But Lily loves girly things, but she also loves doing everything with Jack, bugs. They're like best friends, not just brother and sister.
We've heard a lot about the impact that this is having on the community at large and the family, and it's really important that we locate these children and get the information from the scene here and from anyone who might have information about the kids and their habits. So it's been really important to have engagement from anyone who knows these kids. We're operating on a search right now to locate them from having wandered. So that's the goal that we're all working towards here. I know that all of the information that has been collected is being looked at carefully by GSAR and by the investigators and the police on scene to ensure that our best practices are followed in order to establish where the searches need to be concentrated and focused.
We were searching. We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones and stuff like that. Screaming as loud as I can, and just until my throat hurt. Running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in a military outfit said I could go back into the woods.
4 days into the search for his missing stepkids, Lily and Jack Sullivan, Daniel Martel is pleading with the public to keep their eyes peeled. But he has begun to lose hope they are anywhere in the vicinity.
They hate being wet and cold, so they immediately would have came right back into the house. The only 2 prints are right beside the house facing the road, and then that's it.
Martel wants the search to be extended to include provincial borders in case the children were abducted, a reality he says is becoming more and more likely.
Post any officers they can get at the New Brunswick border, PI border, and get them at every airport possible.
Martel confirmed that when the 2 children went missing from the home behind me, Lily was wearing a pink shirt and pink rain boots. She was also carrying a white backpack with strawberries on it. Martel says although he didn't see Jack that morning, he is believed to be wearing a brown shirt, brown pants with a pull-up diaper on underneath, and blue rain boots with dinosaurs on them. He also refuted the claim that the 2 children are nonverbal, saying while they are on the autism spectrum, they are quite trusting and say hi to everyone. According to Martel, his side of the family are currently the only ones at ground zero after Lily and Jack's mother left the county Saturday. But still, he remains, begging anyone with answers to come forward and bring his children home safe.
Anybody who has any information, or you think you've seen something or hear something, or any messages from friends about hearing something, just contact your local police services. Anything, guys, anything.
Ella MacDonald, Global News, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia.
Saturday, May 3rd, 2025. The community mobilizes. Over 160 trained searchers, volunteers, fire crews, RCMP, dogs, drones, helicopters. Every inch of the property and its surroundings is combed. That evening, the first and only physical clue is found. A small boot print. No trail, no second print, no direction to follow.
As RCMP combed through woods and fields searching for 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, their stepfather Daniel Martel spends every evening conducting his own search.
As soon as I seen they were missing, I jumped right in the vehicle and I did every dirt road and searched every culvert.
The children are thought to have wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station on Friday morning. Martel believes they were only gone for about 20 minutes before he and their mother noticed they were missing.
The very first day I wasn't around very much because I was just searching. I was running through the woods, screaming their name till my throat hurt.
Martel says the only concrete clue so far is a boot print found near the backyard of the property. RCMP haven't shared any additional evidence.
The officers and searchers on site are following up on anything that comes up that provides direction, provides specifics, and provides something that can be used to narrow the search.
Martel and the children's mother have been in a relationship for 3 years now. Malaya Brooks Murray told CTV News she's still holding out hope Jack and Lily will be found. She is now staying with family outside the county, and Martel says she hasn't spoken to him since. Hundreds of people have been searching for 5 days now. Martel is worried the children have been abducted.
Hardly any evidence at all since the first day. It's mind-boggling that nothing else was found.
The RCMP would not confirm if Major Crime is investigating.
There's a variety of teams who are applying their skills and expertise in order to assist in the search. I can't comment on what any of the specific teams are beyond what's involved in the search on the ground here.
Every day the children aren't found is taking a toll on Martel.
Just waiting and waiting and waiting for them to come home.
Todd, the media has been kept away from the command center today. RCMP and the search team had to move after being asked to leave a private property they were on. RCMP says this doesn't impact their operations.
Through the week, search efforts expand to cover more than 5.5 square kilometers. No new clues, no movement. Drones and infrared cameras sweep the forest from above as search teams comb through the woods below. Jack and Lily have vanished with just one single boot print to follow.
In other news today, the search continues this morning for 2 missing children in rural Nova Scotia. Crews have been combing through the woods around Pictou County since Friday, when police believe they wandered away from their home. Brett Ruskin is live in Halifax. He's picking up the story for us this morning. Where do things stand today, Brett, with the search efforts?
Good morning, Heather. Yes, search efforts are continuing this morning for these 2 missing children here in Nova Scotia. So we have 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. They went missing on Friday morning. Now, we heard from the children's stepfather recently. Here's what he had to say about this situation.
The last few days have been very stressful. I mean, ever since the Friday morning, when we noticed that the children were gone. Immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there.
So again, this search began with family members and has now expanded to dozens of search and rescue volunteers. About 160 people were on the ground yesterday. There were dogs brought in to try to catch a scent of these two children. There were 8 drone units in the skies searching, as well as a couple of helicopters as well, each one of them equipped with infrared sensors and cameras looking for these children. Now, we heard from police talking about some of the challenging conditions and logistical issues that they are running into with this situation, with the situation on the ground. Here's what police had to say about this search.
With the wet weather, it makes things a little more complicated for our searchers. Given they're in the woods, it's wet, things are slippery, footing's not the greatest. It's the water's it's not the best, but they're still trudging through and they're still working hard at doing the job that they have to do.
Again, we know that 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan went missing on Friday morning. That is when this search began and when the family reported them missing. And again, the search has been ongoing since that time. Heather.
Brett, I'm sure people following the story closely, those who are close at hand in terms of proximity, what can people do if they're trying and hoping to help?
Yeah, folks might think that, hey, I live nearby, I could hop in the car and go and search through the woods. I can help out as well, but that's not necessarily what officials want. They say this is a very coordinated, very organized search. They know where each one of the crews are. They know the areas that have been searched already and the areas that they are now focusing on. So advising residents to not just drive out and try to help out with the search on their own in the woods. One thing that people can help with is searching their own properties, looking in ditches, culverts, sheds, or any other possible hiding area that these children may have used for shelter. That is how people can help. And again, we know that the temperature has dropped a little bit overnight, but we haven't seen below 0 temperatures. So again, these search efforts are continuing now, beginning their 4th day of searching.
About a week after their disappearance, the RCMP scales back the search. The official statement cites weather, terrain, and the time elapsed. Between the lines, the authorities are no longer expecting to find the children alive. It's no longer a rescue. It's a recovery or a quiet closure.
Todd, it's been 1 week. 7 days since 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan disappeared, last believed to have wandered into the woods behind me. And despite an intense 6-day search, there's still no sign of them. They were seen last Friday morning. For 6 days, there were boots on the ground, drones and helicopters in the sky. At a nearby RCMP detachment, the community has built a memorial with flowers and stuffed animals. People here are holding on to hope, and so is the family.
The last of RCMP in the area that I've seen, they were at Lansdowne Lake, and they told me that they scoured the lake, divers, and sonared the lake, and there's no evidence at all. If they were in this area, would have found them. My family's still searching.
At one point, 160 people were out here searching. That help is gone, but the family isn't giving up. On Wednesday, RCMP insisted the search is ongoing. The family says this has been an extremely tough time, and on top of everything else, the rumors on social media has made it even more difficult.
As of today, May 7th, the active search efforts to locate Lily and Jack will be scaled back.
It's devastating news for the family, who have been holding out hope for the past 6 days that Jack and Lily would be found.
100 days isn't enough. A whole lifetime isn't enough for them. I just want to find them.
The RCMP considers all missing persons files to be suspicious, and the Major Crime Unit will continue its investigation into what happened to these 2 small children.
We are constantly reviewing everything that's been done, looking at all different facets of available information, and we'll make decisions on that. I can't really comment on the details of that, but we will pursue every lead that becomes available and take it to where it needs to go.
A scaled-back search means ground search and rescue operations will cease as of today. Pictou County RCMP will handle all search operations going forward, and they will only resume those operations based on new evidence that could be presented in the future.
6 days after 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan disappeared from their home in rural northeastern Nova Scotia, the RCMP announced today their search for the two siblings is being scaled back, saying there's little chance they are alive. The CBC's Blair Rhodes joins us now live from the search area in Pictou County with the latest. Blair.
Tom, the mood here was solemn as the searchers were told that despite their best efforts, they were scaling back the search. Before the news conference, RCMP told Jack and Lily's family their stepfather, Daniel Martel, said he's not giving up.
I'm still holding out hope. I don't know why they didn't find anything from Jack's pull-up to her backpack or any of her belongings at all. They just haven't found anything.
Now, while the family may have some hope, the police say that after 6 days of often extreme conditions, the children were still in the woods, they wouldn't be alive. So now they said it came down to a question of survivability.
And a number of factors would have to take consideration, and they would, based upon scientific information that they have, to deem when that time has to come, and that is now. And a lot of those factors come into play would be the age of the missing persons, the weather, how long it's been, what area has been covered. So at that point, they have to make a decision on that.
Now, from the very beginning, they described this disappearance as suspicious. That's standard in missing persons cases like this. Today, we were asking the police, because the Major Crime Unit has been part of this investigation since the weekend, as to whether they could elaborate on that, but they didn't want to answer questions about whether they had detected any criminal activity in connection with this.
When somebody goes missing and we become engaged as any police officer, not just major crime, we will look at all the details and make considerations on the information we have, right? When it comes to a missing person, we have to automatically consider are there people that have different charter implications and things like that, so we will automatically start to consider what evidence is pointing us towards a suspicious in nature. Again, I can't comment more than that, but every missing person case, we would approach it from the same process, a methodical collection and review of information with decisions based on that.
Now, when police say they're scaling back, what they mean by that is they will be going back over some of the areas they've already searched, taking another look to see if there's anything they missed. Tom?
All right, Blair, thanks for that. That is CBC's Blair Rhodes reporting live for us from Pictou County this evening.
In the immediate aftermath of Lily and Jack's disappearance, Malehia's behavior raised eyebrows. Reports indicate that she not only left the county to go stay with family, she changed her Facebook relationship status to single and blocked her partner, Daniel Martel, on all social media platforms. This sudden digital distancing occurred shortly after the children were reported missing, suggesting potential internal conflicts or a desire to dissociate from Martel publicly. Such actions, while not indicative of guilt, are unusual during a crisis where unified public appeals are common. In the immediate aftermath of Lily and Jack's disappearance, Malehia's behavior raised eyebrows. Reports indicate that she not only left the county to go stay with family, she changed her Facebook relationship status to single and blocked her partner, Daniel Martel, on all social media platforms. This sudden digital distancing occurred shortly after the children were reported missing, suggesting potential internal conflicts or a desire to dissociate from Martel publicly. Such actions, while not indicative of guilt, are unusual during a crisis where unified public appeals are common. An overlooked detail that I find most compelling is the presence of another adult residing on the property, Daniel Martel's mother. She lived in a separate dwelling, a camper or trailer, on the same land. Despite her proximity, there is scant information about her observations or involvement during the critical time frame. Her potential insights into the household dynamics or any unusual occurrences could be invaluable, yet her voice remains absent from public discourse.
So many questions still around both this investigation and this mystery around what happened to these two young children. Yesterday, the RCMP announcing they've scaled back their search. They said they're going to be circling back on areas that have been looked at before. So what does that tell you, this move signal, at this stage of the investigation?
Well, yeah, thanks for having me, Anne-Marie. There's a couple of things at play here. Either the police know more than we do, which is quite likely, particularly from an investigative perspective, things they're not saying. It was very clear yesterday in the press conference that the staff sergeant in charge of the investigative side of this said there's things he couldn't say. At the same time, it's very intense and very thick area that they're searching, very difficult to traverse, even for trained adults, let alone children. So they've obviously made the decision that they don't believe the kids have got further than their perimeter, the area they've already searched. So they want to go back and research it. And he also specifically said there's areas that they want to revisit. So why is that? It's disturbing to me that they think the children may not be alive, but the RCMP are really good at this, big searches and investigations, and so they know something we don't, and we have to trust them that hopefully these kids will be found alive, and they'll, if possible, they will do so.
Is it possible one of the areas they're going to go back and research is the children's home and the property surrounding?
It could well be. It could be specific areas in that turf that maybe there's water, culverts and things like that. I don't know. I'm only guessing here. But they're pretty careful to how they worded it all, and which makes me think, once again, from an investigative perspective, they know something we don't, which is almost always the case. But the investigation, the search, always happen in parallel. But in this case, it appears that it seems to be narrowing down to a point that we're going to know something soon, and fingers crossed it's good news, but they're not holding out a whole pile of hope at this point, unfortunately.
It's interesting that your experience and instinct tell you that they're narrowing in on something soon. One thing else that stood out was that major crimes is still part of this investigation. They were at that press conference on Wednesday. What does that say, that this is a search and rescue / search recovery, but also that major crimes is involved?
Well, major crimes would always be involved with missing children, because either they're lost, which is certainly what they've been hoping to be the case, and then find them alive, or they've met with foul play in some way. And there's a couple of different avenues that could go, either a stranger abduction or someone that is known to them. And so major crime would always be following that up until they really have proof one way or another as to what's happened to these kids.
Martel has expressed his belief that the children were abducted and has urged authorities to expand the search beyond the immediate area. He has also mentioned that he provided his phone to the police and offered to take a polygraph test. The Sullivan case is riddled with complexities: a mother's sudden social media distancing, an overlooked potential witness, and evolving narratives. Each element adds a layer to the mystery, demanding meticulous scrutiny. As we continue to piece together the puzzle, these facets warrant further investigation to uncover the truth behind Lily and Jack's disappearance. Despite Daniel's cooperation and efforts to maintain his innocence, CPS intervened to ensure the safety of Jack and Lily's 16-month-old sister, Meadow. Reports indicate that Meadow is currently in the custody of Child Protective Services. Roughly a week or so after the disappearance, Daniel attempted to visit Meadow at the CPS office in Stellarton, but was denied access. Martel stated, "As of now, I can't be around Meadow," highlighting the strict measures CPS has implemented during the ongoing investigation. The swift action by CPS to place Meadow in protective custody underscores the severity with which authorities are treating the situation. The denial of visitation rights to Martel suggests that CPS is exercising caution, possibly due to concerns about the home environment or ongoing investigations. The separation of Meadow from her parents during this critical time may have significant implications for the family's dynamics and the investigation's direction. The involvement of CPS and the revoked custody of Meadow adds another layer of complexity to the Sullivan case. As the investigation continues, these developments may provide further insights into the circumstances surrounding Lily and Jack's disappearance.
The scenario everyone's hoping for is we bring them home. That's the main objective. It's always been that from day one.
Nearly 3 weeks later, the RCMP finally began inquiring about footage that may have been captured by the neighbors' trail cams, but it seems that this may have just been to appease the community and outsiders who've been following the case. being that it's been suggested the police know something they aren't sharing with the public, and there have been rumors spreading on social media that they had been found deceased. But due to the active investigation, they are keeping those details quiet.
The SD card goes into the bottom here.
Melissa Scott has 7 of these trail cameras set up around her property. This week, she says the RCMP showed up asking for footage dating back 5 days before Lily and Jack Sullivan were reported missing from their home.
I did mention to them that I was very happy to see them and glad that they were canvassing a little further and looking at trail cam footage. And they did respond saying that they probably should have been around earlier.
The children live in Lansdowne Station, an extremely rural area about 140 kilometers northeast of Halifax. As the crow flies, Scott's property is just over 5 kilometers from there. It's more than an 8-kilometer drive, but the two areas are also connected by train tracks.
They also asked our vehicles. We wanted to identify all of our vehicles so they could rule out local traffic.
The RCMP declined an interview and also refused to answer specific questions about what investigators are looking for on trail camera footage or why they're asking for video dating back 5 days before the kids were reported missing. The force says it isn't providing any further details right now to protect the integrity of its investigation.
Obviously, we care deeply.
Volunteers are being offered support.
A lot of our members have kids of their own, so obviously that makes it more challenging.
Scott says she provided hours of video.
And I didn't see anything on it, but they're welcome to have it, and maybe they'll see something I didn't.
The case is captivating the province with so many questions and so few answers about what may have happened to Lily and Jack.
Melissa Scott's trail cameras might contain clues about the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan. RCMP asked her for days of footage as the investigation into the missing children approaches the 3-week mark.
It's scary, especially not knowing what happens. We definitely keep our kids a little closer to home now.
The 4- and 6-year-olds were reported missing from this home on May 2nd, launching a massive search of the woods surrounding the home. No trace has been found, and RCMP haven't ruled out the case is suspicious. This is some of the footage Scott gave police. She says RCMP major crimes officers came to her home this week, asking for everything on her 7 cameras, starting April 27th, 5 days before the kids were reported missing. 2 of Scott's neighbors were also asked to provide footage to RCMP.
What began as a frantic search for 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan has settled into a silence that grips Lansdowne Station.
It just blows my mind that there's absolutely nothing.
RCMP are now offering new information to the public of the siblings' movements before they went missing.
Based on details gathered so far, we have confirmed that Lily and Jack were observed in public with family members on the afternoon of May 1st.
Investigators are appealing for more video.
Investigators are now asking anyone who has dash cam footage or video along Garlick Road between noon on April 28th and noon on May 2nd to contact Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit.
They should have brought camera footage to the RCMP almost immediately if they lived in such a close range. I don't know why people would wait 3 weeks later or...
During the initial search for the children, 160 people scoured 5.5 square kilometer of forest with drones, dogs, and aircraft, but that's since quieted down.
I know they're working hard and they have all the technology in the world to use. We all want answers.
Investigators have now reviewed hours of trail video and followed up on more than 355 tips. Over 50 have been interviewed, and RCMP says it plans to speak to others. While official searches have scaled back, the children's stepfather keeps going, retracing ground already searched.
I want them home. Trying to make my way through every day when the only support I have is my family. Malaya's not here. My kids are not here.
Todd, the stepfather tells me that despite major crimes being involved, he's been told that this investigation is being treated as a missing persons case. He also insists that he's been cooperating with the police, including providing a polygraph test, which he did, and he says he passed.
It's now been over a month, and Daniel is still the only family member speaking out publicly and holding out hope that Lily and Jack will be found alive. Although as more time passes, the likelihood decreases. If they had simply wandered off and gotten lost in the woods, there's no reason the canine units shouldn't have been able to pick up their scent, which suggests they may have been taken away from the property by vehicle. Now, whether or not it was in the company of someone the children were familiar with would be the ultimate question.
Every day when I wake up, feels like I'm reliving a nightmare of May 2nd. But the main feelings from sadness have just turned to anger because there's no evidence as of after 1 month. And it's really taken a toll.
On Friday, RCMP say ground search and rescue crews and police will return to the area this weekend, focusing on a nearby pipeline trail where a boot print was previously located.
I know that they're working hard and they're using every resource they have, and it makes me hopeful because that's all we have at this point is just hope.
A vigil of flowers and stuffed animals has grown in recent weeks outside the RCMP station in nearby Stellarton. Since May 2nd, when Lily and Jack went missing, people here in Pictou County are still struggling to understand what happened and why there are still no answers.
Every day, almost, I go by the RCMP, and it's just so tragic. Just so tragic. You know, I just feel so bad for their whole family. Yeah. I'm hoping that they find them.
It just doesn't look good, but I hope I'm wrong.
The warden of Pictou County says many people are on edge and children are worried about playing outside.
Oh, I think it's mostly a mood of anxiety maybe and frustration. They too can't believe that there's not an answer by this long and this many people looking.
The RCMP have confirmed Lily and Jack were seen on camera with family the day before they went missing. Police are asking anyone who was on Gairloch Road between April 28th and May 2nd to share their dash cam or other footage with RCMP. Martel says every detail helps and could lead to finding Lily and Jack.
I'm going to keep fighting for the rest of my life to find these kids. That's the only goal I have at this point.
Haley Ryan, CBC News, Lansdowne Station.
There are several different theories circulating. Theory 1. Accidental wandering. Summary: Jack 4 and Lily 6 left the house on their own in the early morning, wandered into the woods, and succumbed to the elements. Supporting points: a child's boot print was found early in the search. The terrain surrounding the home is heavily wooded and disorienting. Initial RCMP statements supported this as the primary theory. Counterpoints: despite massive ground, air, and canine searches over 5.5 square kilometers, no other trace was found. No scent trail, no clothing, no body, no sign of shelter or struggle. Children that young would not have traveled far, especially without leaving more signs. The discovery of only one boot print feels more like a breadcrumb than a path. Conditions were harsh, and no survival gear or food was missing. Unlikely they left voluntarily or planned an adventure. 2 young children wander off into dense woods without leaving a trace? That's not a theory. That's a bedtime story with no ending. The wilderness takes, yes, but it also leaves scars, and there were none to be seen. Theory 2. Stranger abduction. Summary: an unknown individual abducted the children, either from the home or after luring them away. Supporting points: Martel publicly suggested abduction early on. No signs of struggle could imply a silent approach, possibly someone the children trusted. Property was remote but not impenetrable. No fences, no surveillance. Counterpoints: no witnesses, no suspicious vehicles. No neighbors saw or heard anything unusual. No forensic evidence to support forced entry or signs of another party's presence. Rural location makes opportunistic abduction less plausible without foreknowledge of the family or children's routines. No ransom demands or digital traces. If it was abduction, it wasn't random. This would have taken planning, precision, and knowledge of the home and when the parents would be asleep. If someone took them, it wasn't by accident. It was by design. Theory 3. Parental involvement. Summary: the parents, or someone in the home, were involved directly or covered up an accidental death. Supporting points. Inconsistencies in the timeline from Malehia Brooks Murray. She changed her Facebook status to single and blocked Martel shortly after the disappearance. She has made no media appeals, no interviews, no pleas for public help. Meadow, the couple's baby, was removed by CPS shortly after the incident. Martel was denied visitation. Family tension. Malehia's relatives have distanced from Martel and vice versa. The other adult, Martel's mother, lived on the property and remains unaccounted for in the narrative. Counterpoints. Martel has been open with law enforcement, turned over his phone, took interviews, and offered to take a polygraph. No physical evidence or forensic proof has tied either parent to foul play, yet. People grieve in different ways, but disappearing from public view while your children are missing isn't just unusual, it's deliberate. The silence here isn't shock, it's strategy. If there's guilt, it's not being worn on sleeves, it's tucked in deep. Theory 4, custody and CPS-linked motive. Summary: there may have been prior CPS involvement or tension involving custody of the children. Theories circulate that someone within the family may have acted out of fear of losing parental rights, or, conversely, to prevent another parent from regaining custody. Supporting points. Meadow was swiftly removed from the home by CPS. Martel was blocked from visiting his daughter soon after the investigation began. If Jack and Lily had previously been subject to child welfare concerns, it's possible something escalated. Counterpoints. No public records confirm prior CPS involvement before the disappearance. Still speculative, but often where there's smoke, there's fire. When CPS steps in, it means something was already wrong. The system rarely intervenes that quickly unless there's reason to believe the remaining child is in danger. Whatever was going on behind closed doors, it was dark enough to draw them in. Theory 5, cultural disregard and institutional neglect. Summary: this theory doesn't point to a perpetrator, but to a pattern, a systemic failure to protect Indigenous children. Supporting points. No Amber Alert was issued despite 2 young children vanishing without trace. RCMP hesitated to treat the case as a potential crime. The Sipeknekatik First Nation has expressed concern over how the case was handled. Long-standing precedent, MMIWG, residential school trauma, the Highway of Tears, all examples of systemic failures to respond with urgency when Indigenous lives are at stake. Counterpoints. This doesn't explain the disappearance itself, but rather why it remains unsolved. If Jack and Lily were white, rich, and from Halifax, there would have been helicopters in the sky and Amber Alerts on every screen. Instead, their absence was treated like a paperwork glitch. That's not just neglect, it's historic repetition. Each theory holds a piece of the truth. Maybe they wandered, maybe they were taken, maybe something far more personal and terrible occurred in that house. But the scariest theory? That someone knows, and they're being protected by silence, by distance, by a system that's forgotten how to see the smallest among us. I'm not done, and neither are you. In the most recent development, a woman claiming to be Daniel's cousin participated in a live segment alleging strange and toxic behavior by Malehia's mother that had led her to leaving the county and distancing herself from Daniel.
Sorry. No, go ahead. Did Mom ever, hey, I just find it so odd. You would think, did any of them ever make the statement that they wanted to look for the children, or did she make a fuss saying, I don't want to leave until I find my kids?
No.
Or... Really?
No. So that's what I stated as well. Because when I got there, I said, do you want me to stay with the baby? You can go look. she goes, I'm going to stay with the baby. Okay, said whatever. So I went looking. So that was the next thing, was when she was told that the baby had to leave the residence. She's exactly told she did not have to leave the residence. They just wanted the baby off the residence, from away from the residence. That's like, this whole scenario isn't something a kid should be a part of. So the baby was going to come to my house. So she's never been apart from the baby. Never. Like, she's meadow. So I said, you're more than welcome to come too. If not, I am comfortable. I have 3 kids of my own. Like Malaya, I can take care of this kid. Like, I can take care of the baby, no problem. So first the baby, it was just going to be the baby. And then she decided she was going to come with me. So, but then something changed and we were at the briefing. Her mother said something to her. And then I had to take everything out of my car and put it in her mother's car. And like I said, she had this whole plan. Like, she was going to drive her car into my house. Mm-hmm. And she was going to, and then the plan changed. Oh, I'm going to take the car to my mother's. Like, I'm going with my mother. Well, she didn't even come back for the car. Like, the search and rescue had her car towed to wherever she was because they left the car. That's how much of a hurry that was to leave. Malaya stayed at the residence Friday night.
And just out of curiosity, because I think you said something and I wasn't quite sure I understood. When did Malaya's mother arrive at the house?
So she arrived Friday. She was there before I got there on Friday when they went missing. I'm not sure the exact time. We all tried to figure that out. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did Malaya's mother stay overnight there?
I am unsure, but she was there in the morning when I came back. So she could have stayed the night. Like I said, I am unsure because I didn't stay at the residence that night. I went home. And Daniel did pass the lie detector test.
So what was Daniel's relationship like with Malaya's mom?
From what I understand, Malaya's relationship with her mother was never great. She didn't want to live with her mother. So Daniel's poison is, from what I understand, poison. Like, he always said, and he said this in his interviews over and over again, is every time Malaya got ahead in life, her mother pulled her back. So we'll just go with that.
I just find it strange how the grandmother would convince her daughter to leave
the residence
instead of staying with her to look for these babies.
That woman has never shed a tear the whole time she was there. My dad even stated that. He goes, I cried. Like, my father cried and cried and cried. This is a 55-year-old man. And he cried for those children. And that grandmother didn't shed a tear.
Now, I know you can't speak on Daniel's behalf, but what does he really truly believe happened to these kids?
That's something that he has stated all along, that it's something that has to come from him. Honestly, he believes they were, I think he believes that they were picked up by now, like that they were abducted, because there's no sign of them in the woods. He doesn't believe they're in the woods.
Uh-huh. So he really doesn't believe that mom had anything to do with it.
That's something I don't know, because, like, you know, you always have your line of doubt, right? Like, you always have your theories and your thing. So I can't speak on his behalf on that. Like,
yeah, I understand. I just know that they both used each other as an alibi and in the morning in regards to the situation.
Absolutely. And no, I don't believe he believed or believes that Malaya had anything to do with the children missing.
A question that I have is, did Malaya have, or do you know, if Malaya had her own cell phone?
Yes, she has her own cell phone. I've called her on it.
Okay. And Daniel has his own cell phone?
Absolutely, but they're a very open couple.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, I was just curious.
I see that. Did you think Malaya met somebody else type deal?
Oh, no, that's not where I was going with this. No. No, I was actually thinking back to when Daniel had said that he had gone out looking for the children and that the police, he had offered up his phone to the police to check the GPS and, you know, all that sort of thing, right?
Absolutely, yeah. No, they do have separate cell phones.
Okay, all right.
And the cops even gave Daniel a cell phone while they took Daniel's cell phone. So, like, yeah,
Right.
no.
Okay.
I don't know, like I said, like whatever she has offered up or whatever she has done, if she had a lie detector test or whatever she has done, I can't speak on her behalf anymore because I haven't seen her since literally that Saturday, but I haven't spoken to her since that Sunday.
So did it come as a shock to Daniel that she actually up and left him?
Yes, 100%. Like because one moment there was an altercation at the end of the driveway, which was me and one of Malaya's family members screaming at each other. And the cops were called down. So when the cops came down, they took Malaya aside. They took my mother aside because my mother said she was part of the altercation, which she was. I was as well. And my aunt. We all got spoken to by the police. Malaya literally told the police officer right then and there, like, this is the happiest I've ever been. I feel the safest when I'm with here. Like, even when she left, Officer Mason was dead shocked, as was Daniel, that she actually left. Because she told the officer that it was the safest she's ever been. So when
after her mother got there.
That was before her mother got to her.
And I just want to clarify, when you're saying that, she was saying that this is the safest she's ever felt, meaning in your company and your family's company.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
So to know that he got home to go contact her, that he was blocked and deleted, was a complete and utter shock.
How old is Malaya?
Malaya is 27, I believe.
And Daniel's
32, I believe.
32, okay.
Okay. I just want to mention something. There's 211 people in the room. Could we get people to tap, please, and just boost the channel? It really, really, really helps the channel a lot. So if you're sitting here watching and you're enjoying the content, please support the channel.
Yes, tap away.
Oh, and I described Daniel and Malaya's relationship great, to be totally honest. Like, for every time I've been around and been there, they've completely got along. So I don't know. Every relationship has issues, but I've never. I described their relationship as great. Like, they became very close. They had a child together. He raises their kids. She helped raise his other kid. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't see any issues.
And has Daniel had the opportunity, since this has happened, to visit Meadow?
No.
So who's preventing him from, is it Malaya that's preventing him from doing that?
From what I understand, it's Children's Aid.
Sorry, from what you understand, it's who?
Children's Aid.
Why would Children's Aid withhold access to his child?
I'm not sure. And this is the type of situation that I've never been in.
Like, he even, I mean...
And he has proved himself over and over again. So, an CPS issue with this is kind of not my spot to say. So what goes on there? But no, from what I understand, and this is the only thing I'm going to say about it, is I believe it is CPS that is doing this right now.
So is it
Like, I'm
Malaya or is
surprised
it
that
Malaya's mom that has access to the little one right now?
The baby, Meadow is in custody of her mother. Like,
Okay.
Malaya has custody of Meadow at the moment.
I don't understand why they wouldn't allow Daniel access.
I don't understand why, if this is a case.
And Malaya has the baby.
Unless she made allegations of domestic abuse. But even then, it would have to go to family court, and he should be allowed, at minimal right now, supervised access with his children.
Absolutely, and we've been going through all that. But as of right now, we're working on that. So that's something I don't really want to discuss, is like his doings with the children at the moment.
Right. And that's fair enough.
And I don't believe she's met anybody else. Like I said she felt the safest and everything there. So everybody's saying that maybe she met somebody new. I don't believe that. Her and Daniel were great, so I can't.
So just your gut instinct. What do you think? If you're not comfortable, that's fine. I mean, what is your gut instinct? What's going on with Malaya? Why is she doing all of this?
I believe her mother's kind of manipulative. From what I've seen of her.
Why would the mom want to do this?
I don't know. But what I've met of the mother, I've been Daniel and her have been together 3 years. This is the first time I have ever met the mother. And like I said, and you know when you get vibes from people, even when I was putting my phone number in Malaya's phone for her, when she was leaving, her mother seemed like I was doing something wrong. Like she was like, "What are you doing with Malaya's phone? Like, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm giving her my number so she has me to call. Like I'm a safe place." Like why are you being so nosy on what I'm doing to your daughter's phone? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like why? But when I did try to call Malaya afterwards, like on that Sunday, to check on Meadow and to check on her, she answered. And as soon as she answered, what I got was, I said, "How is Meadow?" She goes, "Meadow is fine." And then I hear in the background, "Who are you talking to? Hang that phone up."
So she's very toxic. Yeah.
Yes. So then when I called back the next time, because I'm very persistent, I'm going to call the next day, my number was blocked. So, little trick on your phone, if you're blocked, you can private your number and it will still go through. So I did call, but I didn't say anything because I wanted to see who would answer the phone. Her mother answered the phone, and she went Malaya's phone, so I did not talk, and I just hung up the phone because I knew I wasn't going to get anywhere. You're a 27-year-old girl and your mother has custody of your phone. I think there's an issue there.
Interesting.
She seems very toxic to me, and like I said, yes, very controlling. And that's how Daniel has described her to me because I've asked about her.
Yeah.
Jack, it's time to go to bed, baby. No, it's time to go to bed, baby. That 3-hour late nap was not a great idea. I'm sorry. But yeah, yeah. So if there's not anything else, I'm going to try to get this little creature to go to bed. But yeah, I kind of hope that I helped squash some.
Logan, I want to thank you again so much for trusting this channel. I understand that you haven't ever spoken out. You have not spoken to the media.
I won't speak to the media. I've been contacted daily.
Well, again, I just want to thank you so much. I really, really appreciate and the trust that you have in me, in the channel, in our mods, and you are very welcome back anytime.
Thank you. Like I said,
tonight is about saying a prayer, and we're going to light the way home for them.
A paper lantern for 4-year-old Jack, another for 6-year-old Lily, released into the twilight sky as a beacon of hope.
Illuminate the path for Lily and Jack. Guide their footsteps home.
One by one, people placed candles, teddy bears, and angels outside the Stellarton RCMP detachment, a growing memorial as many questions are still unanswered.
Investigators remain committed to exploring all possibilities surrounding the children's disappearance. We want to thank all those who provided tips and information. Please know that we're fully engaged in finding out what happened to Lily and Jack.
Some family members of the two children looked on as dozens of community members showed they care.
It's like every parent's worst nightmare. You don't ever want to have to ever go through something like this. And I think it's good to show them that their community is here for support if they need it.
Search and rescue volunteers have scoured a total of 8.5 square kilometers surrounding the children's home. The latest search happened this past weekend when crews focused on a pipeline trail where a boot print was previously found. Tell me what that's been like living here in this community and having to watch this unfold day after day.
It's hard because with Facebook, you're on Facebook every morning, check and see if there's an update. You go to the RCMP site to see if there's an update, and then you hear about searches, and your heart just breaks every time because you pray that today will be the day that they bring them home.
Angela McIver, CBC News, Stellarton.
Jack Sullivan, still missing.
Reading the words from a page he was handed at a vigil for his missing stepchildren, 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, Daniel Martel says it brought out a lot of emotions.
They had some RCMP speakers and people from the community, and there was even one guy who drove all the way from Sheet Harbor to come up and show his respect, so I appreciate that.
The children are believed to have wandered away from their home on May 2nd. It's been weeks and not much has turned up since, but Martel is still holding on to hope the children will be found safe.
It doesn't get any easier. I mean, 1 month has passed.
At the vigil, Martel didn't know what to expect, but people came. Strangers stood silent, held candles, and left messages.
What else can you do? It's a way they can show their emotion and as best they can, and that we haven't forgotten.
The children's mother didn't attend the vigil. Martel says the grief has been overwhelming, and online speculation hasn't helped, especially for their daughter that still lives with her.
Put your focus outward around Malaya and toward the kids. Don't attack Malaya, because her mental health is, you know, it's going to be reflected on our daughter, so I don't want anyone attacking Malaya anymore.
The county's warden says he understands a vigil may seem premature to some, but it's a sign of how deeply the community cares.
I always thought that perhaps it was a little early, and perhaps it would show that we were sort of accepting the inevitable, and maybe we have to, but I think there was still hope here. I don't think they were giving up.
The RCMP is still investigating this as a missing persons case and is encouraging anyone with information to reach out. Hafsa RFC TV News, Stellarton.
There's a moment right before a candle goes out when the flame stretches tall, like it's trying to stay alive a little longer. Jack and Lily Sullivan were that flame. And now, all we've got is the smoke. This wasn't just a disappearance. This was a rupture in the fabric of reality. 2 children don't just evaporate from their own home, not without noise, not without clues. So, if the forest didn't take them, someone did. What do we really know? We know the timeline doesn't hold. We know the mother withdrew. We know the father's being kept at arm's length. We know the baby is gone, too, into the arms of CPS. And we know the system didn't sound the alarm. No Amber Alert, no national coverage, just 2 Indigenous kids filed under maybe they wandered. But I don't file things. I archive. I remember. And if you're watching this, then you do too. You remember their names. You remember their faces. You remember the way the world looked the day they vanished. So until there's truth, I'll keep digging. Until someone speaks, I'll keep listening. And until Jack and Lily come home, I don't close the file. I just turn the page. Come along with me as I review more unsolved cases and bizarre mysteries. Like and share this for those who still believe in coincidence, and don't forget to subscribe, because the truth doesn't knock twice.